I use the word social engineering.
Okay.
And this person just blast me outright and say, Michael, you say social engineering. I didn't see any social engineering at all. I said, no, social engineering is not bolts and nuts and fuel oil and steam engines.
Was that what they were thinking?
Yeah, he was thinking like that.
Oh,
and
God.
I explained to him that social engineering is manipulating minds, right?
Hi, and welcome back to the Chris Henson Conversation. This is the second last episode before we end season 5. And with me in studio, I have someone who wears quite a number of hats. He is a writer, a producer, a director, a lecturer, even an author, and an award-winning actor. But believe it or not, he's also a cybersecurity consultant. I'm getting fucking confused here. And that's what I'm here to do, to find out what exactly is wrong with this guy on this series of I Love My Job with the accidental award-winning actor, Michael Chua. Welcome to the studio, man.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks for coming down all this way to have this chit-chat with me. And it's really, really an honor, man, to have you here. A guy who is an award-winning actor. And I have this, you heard me say, I'm confused. I need to sort out this muddle. If someone asks, Michael, what do you do at a dinner party? How would you describe yourself and the work that you love?
Oh, normally I would just say I teach, because then everybody understands teaching. Then they'll probably ask, what do you teach? Then I say I teach technology and media. Usually that ends there.
When you say technology, what do you mean? What kind of technology?
Sometimes they ask that, so I say it's cybersecurity. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cybersecurity and media. What's the correlation?
That's usually the next question.
So we see you've been in the company of bright people. If I'm asking the same question.
What's the correlation? Actually, there's a lot of commonality.
Mm-hmm.
For both professions, if I'm going to interview or recruit somebody, I'll look at the sense of urgency, concern for detail, and a healthy sense of paranoia. So these three must be spot on. You have been on set, right? You as a producer, line producer especially, you need to have a healthy sense of paranoia. No, things gonna break up. But I kind of have 3 or 4 contingency plans, but things are gonna break up. That kind of thing. So in cybersecurity, it's the same.
Oh, so you are saying that Murphy's Law,
I definitely have.
what goes wrong, what can go wrong, will go wrong, plays a similar role between cybersecurity, the work in cybersecurity,
yes.
and media.
Yes, correct.
Film production in specific.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to expand on that a little bit? When you say, give an example, what can go wrong, will go wrong?
Well, suppose let's go into the cybersecurity side.
Sure.
Where a simple case of login, right? When you log in and say if that hacker is clever enough to guess the password or has stolen the password and he got in. So there has to be another step to check on people already in the perimeter fence, but without them knowing, because if they know, then it gets very annoying. I already put in, say for legit people, right? I already put in the password and you keep checking, keep asking me, that wouldn't work. So there are methods to check on people within the perimeter fence. It's called pervasive security. Yeah.
Okay. Pervasive security means preventive lah.
No, pervasive, that means you keep checking on people.
Okay, keep checking on people. Okay, hang on. I'm trying to get this right here. So what you're talking about is not about finding out who the hackers are, but in telling people how you can protect your account.
Yes.
Right.
No. Say for example, once you get into the perimeter fence, right? You do some checks without them knowing. Say for example, at a very high end, I don't know how many organizations in Singapore practice that at all, is that there's something called cognitive biometrics, where the way you move your mouse, right?
Yeah.
Is you.
No.
Yeah.
Huh?
So that's a signature. So if they have already collected enough information, the way you type, ta 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 ta. There's a rhythm to it. So if they are really high end into security, these are the things that you will check. A lot of people do not know, including the so-called cybersecurity specialists in Singapore.
So you can actually remotely check how a person's pattern of typing
Well, when they
or
type,
mouse movement is like.
when they type, it will be sent to the server.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, okay.
So if I suppose for very high-end systems, you have to download an app, right? And everything is in the app.
Right.
So if you move your mouse, those are conveyed to the system.
So what can go wrong then?
No, then if this person is a bit strange today, the way he moves his mouse is different.
Oh.
So you can start quizzing.
So that might not be the same person, the original person.
You can start quizzing him or tightening the security and all that.
So you got to be a paranoid person in order to
Very,
do this.
very. But many systems don't do that.
Okay.
I've clients all over the world for many years, and Swift, for example,
Okay.
was the global head of information security policy and business continuity.
Wow.
So you need to be really paranoid when you have the whole world banks transferring trillions of dollars on your network. So it has to be secure. So there was once when I was implementing a biometric system, because the administrators have 9 or 16 passwords to remember,
Right.
and they don't remember. And guess
Right.
what?
Yeah.
They write in a notebook, paper notebook.
Who doesn't do that?
Yeah, so we didn't like that because this is highly secure system, and we didn't like that. So we implemented a biometric system.
Mhm.
Those days was only fingerprint. So most vendors will have your fingerprint taken, and then they match it in a technical way.
Mhm.
And if it matches, you go in. If it doesn't match, you get out. So if it doesn't match, you get out. That's good, because you prevented somebody from going in who didn't have the right. But if it gets in, I'm not even happy about that, because not necessarily happy about that, because if you have a fingerprint taken, right, that data is approximate, because the second time you put your fingerprint there,
Right.
the scan data is slightly different.
Okay.
So I even check for what you call repeat attacks. So say suppose you have your scanner on your desk, right? And you put your fingerprint there, and it takes the first data,
Yeah.
go in, and it works.
Right.
But you're the real guy, so it's okay.
Yeah.
You're the legit guy. So, but unbeknownst to you, somebody has collected this data.
Yeah. It's in your fingerprint.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then while you're away, he takes this signal, not his hand, not his thumb. He replay that data into the system, and the system says, "Oh yeah, this is Chris." Print.
Okay.
Gets it in. So
To maintain this paranoia, which in that business that you are in, is a complete necessity positively. Doesn't it drive you up the wall?
You get used to it. Remember the first time you cycle, right? The bicycle.
Yeah.
It's pretty stressful, right?
Yeah. Okay. After that,
Sometimes it's normal.
you can, once you ride a bike, you can always ride a bike.
So it becomes a occupational hazard sometimes. For example, if you go to say check into a hotel and they have a screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when she turn around to take your thing, you can look into her screen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. All kinds of things you can think about, man. Michael, actually, I want to see that in the movies, dude. Speaking of movies, let's talk about the paranoia when it comes to the set in media.
Yeah, as on set, a lot of things can go wrong. Obviously, if you're outdoors, 101 things can go wrong. It rains, or if your getaway car is supposed to be there, you run to the getaway car, hop in, and zoom away. And then on that day, okay, in Singapore, no budget. You don't book the whole street. On that day, somebody parking there. So how is your car going to zoom in there and you jump in? So there has to be a lot of contingency plans as to where to put.
Okay, it's equivalent to planning for a wet weather program and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's now that you mentioned as an example of getting into a getaway car and speeding off. In Singapore, there's no budget. Fine. Have you ever done something like that in your career as an actor? Jumping into a getaway car and zooming off?
In one of my production, which is a 23-minute action film, there was a scene where not me, but the lead actor jumped into that car and zoom away.
Mm-hmm.
But on that day, a row of cars were parked there.
Oh, this is Singapore.
Yeah. So we couldn't do that. So and the whole city is packed.
Right, of course.
It's hard to find somewhere cinematic, convenient, nice, and have a getaway car and zoom away, unless you book the street.
Which, Michael, proves a point, Bank heists can never happen in this country.
Jam, yeah. So I have to change the script a bit. I have to tweak the script a bit.
Right. Okay, this is you putting on that producer's hat, lah.
Yeah.
What's the common thread, a core passion in both these industries, man? Is there a commonality besides? I'm talking about core passion. A common core passion. When you link the two together, you mentioned about Paranoia and all that is a similarity, sure, but there must be passion for both. Right?
Yeah, I think I haven't thought about it explicitly, but now that you ask, I think it's storytelling, funny enough. Because when I'm designing a system, I'm thinking of what story does that guy have to get into my system. Right? Story as in what journey he's going to take, right?
Okay.
Get into my system. And it's the same for writing scripts and acting and directing. Same thing.
Yeah, that one is definitely writing a story.
It's about storytelling because a lot of people would take cybersecurity as a technical endeavor.
Right.
Which is, of course, you need technical controls and all that. But what if you put that control in the wrong place?
Mm-hmm.
This is not the path that the hacker will walk. So it has to be about story. Right?
Okay.
And these days, fraud and cybersecurity, there's some interlaps.
Well, there's a lot of conjuring there, isn't it? A lot of speculation, conjuring assumptions.
Yeah, so these are the stories that fraudsters would think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to get your password or your credentials to get into the system.
So basically putting your mind into the mind of a hacker, for example.
Yeah.
And why would this guy be doing it?
Yeah.
How is he doing? So it sounds like Criminal Minds, man.
Yeah. It's more, okay, if you there's quite a broad subject. So in the front end, you think about motivation of crime.
Mm-hmm.
And motivation of crime is mostly either sex or money.
Well, that's
I think, it's not a scientific study.
Yeah, that's quite specific.
About 90% is either sex or money. So in some cases, when you think it's not sex, it's definitely money, then you follow the money trail.
Right.
There's 10% which is very hard to solve because it's irrational. Some crazy guy that did this is irrational. So if you have a quota to meet, say if you are an investigator, you have a quota to meet, right? Certain crimes to be solved. I think I will focus on the 90% and the 10%.
Well, you script write, don't you?
Huh?
You do script writing too, right?
I do.
The stories that you've written so far, are they all along the same lines as what you just told me in this story? That's quite compelling, actually.
A bit. I've written about, for example, childhood friends ended up on the opposite side of independence struggle. So technology involved. They use drones. Yeah, they use hacking. They will hack each other.
So do you find doing coming up with stories like this exciting enough for you? It really challenges your right brain. You enjoy imagining stuff.
Yes, that part, yes, but eventually you have to get it implemented, that is made into a movie, and that is even more challenging because especially when you talk to the people that are commercializing the film and they say, nah, come on. Which country is that? Myanmar? Nobody is interested in Myanmar, but it's a good story. I know it's a good story, but the people are interested in maybe in US fighting China in Xinjiang or stuff like that, then it will sell. The tickets will sell. So that is quite frustrating.
So the commercial aspects actually jams the brakes.
And before that, when you have to pitch to people, never mind pitching to the money people, you pitch to your peers first. some of my peers do not understand technology. So they will be unnecessarily jamming the brakes, and that annoys me quite a lot. So for instance, very simple, I wrote in the paper, I say that I use the word social engineering.
Okay.
And this person just blast me outright and say, Michael, you say social engineering. I didn't see any social engineering at all. I said, no, social engineering is not bolts and nuts and fuel oil and steam engines.
Was that what they were thinking?
Yeah, he was thinking like that.
Oh,
and
God.
I explained to him that social engineering is manipulating minds, right? I don't know why they use the word engineering, but okay. And what disappointed me was that he didn't apologize because he was quite rude.
Right.
And among peers, we there's no need to be rude, right?
Yeah. Egos.
I'm not taking your money. You're not taking my money.
Egos, man. Man, these are people that's not constructive.
So there are a lot of steps to overcome. I believe that in Western developed countries, it'll be easier to find somebody that understands it better.
Right.
And I'm saying that from the point of view of having worked in 19 countries, 4 continents, a big part of them in Western developed countries. So they have a longer tradition of technology implementations. And for the case of movies, of course, a lot longer tradition. So I think I will stand a better chance explaining these things to the different sets of people. So the thing is not to upset yourself by saying, Michael, I don't think, not to be gaslighted.
Yeah.
Michael, you're not good. Are you sure? Nobody seems to accept what you say.
So, Michael, don't you think then that our local viewing public, our audiences, we can use in broad, we can use that term audience, the audience, are not very open into wanting to understand these things?
I think audience are okay.
Okay.
Because eventually when you have your film made into the detail, right? You would check through your detail.
Right.
So say, for example, you want an event to happen, you got to foretell it first.
Right.
You build it up slowly.
Sure.
Usually it's 3. You build a bit, then bam, right?
Right.
That's first point.
To the climax, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you can write your story that way to gradually build up and explain things.
Yeah.
You have time to add in set designs, color, prop, lights to accentuate what you want.
Yeah, but earlier on you were saying, like, for example, that friend of yours, a peer of yours, a contemporary who couldn't understand, didn't want to understand. And then the example you used about nobody cares about Myanmar, but unless, of course, if you're talking about the US, having an attack on some part of China, can't remember where you said, but sorry about that. But that would be more compelling, for a script and all that, because the money people will be looking at all these things. Yes. The commercial aspects come into play. And perhaps also maybe because our people, even when I say audience, I don't just mean the viewing audience alone, but people who would invest in something like this, will also be viewers as well. Then could it be that they're just too close? They're not really open to that perspective compared to a Westerner.
I think you have to split these 2 groups, general audience and the audience that will have to the purse string.
But wouldn't these people also be viewing audience as well?
But their eyes are very different. They are usually older, and some of them even feel that you cannot be a star unless you appeared on free-to-air TV before.
Oh, that is so dinosaur, man.
It's old, but they are the one that has the purse strings.
See, and then don't you think that the film industry, I'm always concerned about the arts. People watch the show, know it's like a broken recording, and I don't want it to be broken because I will continue preaching it. I always advocate for musicians and performers and entertainers, and also for writers recently, and I will also not exclude actors, like guys like you. Right? People who want to bring that creativity to the fore, and it's so sickening when they see, and I just had this discussion actually just last night with some people, casually, socially. And as long as you're not from mainstream.
Yeah.
you're nothing. And that's not fair. For example, someone asked me, so what are you doing tomorrow, Chris? Oh, I'm meeting this guy. He's coming on my show. And he's an actor. Oh, who is he? His name is Michael Chua. And they go, never heard of him. I said, why?
He must be an old man.
No, that didn't come out. They said, where is he from? Channel 5? Channel 8? I said, must it be? Must actors come from just these channels? Can't they be someone who's talented and never been or don't want to be even on mainstream? That's not fair, because mainstream will spend as money to promote their own full-time artists. That's not, but does it mean that there are no other talents outside of that? We haven't grown. I think as a viewing audience, we haven't grown.
I think we have.
Well, you're very kind, you are.
And the audience have fragmented into groups now. You have the younger online audience, and you have the TV people, which is very small now, free to air, and you have the movie people.
Okay.
So I used to tell a young chap, I say that mainstream media. Then he asked me, what's mainstream media? I said, TV. He said, no. That is legacy media.
What?
Then I asked him, what is mainstream media? He said, online. So that's a more accurate portrayal of...
How old is this guy, man?
Give or take 35.
That's not very young either.
Yeah, but he's in the industry.
So he's saying now, hey, people, you listen to this, man? This is interesting. So your free to air channels are, let's repeat this just for the sake of the viewer on my show, okay? Mainstream, what used to be called mainstream is perceived to be legacy today. And what is online, is digital, in the digital space, is considered as mainstream.
Yes. I believe that, actually. You know why? Let me give you an illustration.
Sure.
So I have acted for MediaCorp.
Oh, you have?
In case of, yeah, I have.
Mm-hmm.
And they are, not as a very small role, but recurring a few episodes. So it's visible.
Right.
Visible, right?
Yeah,
it's not, it's like not a wallpaper.
Right.
And not once have somebody stopped me on the street and said, hey, you are that Dr. Seeds from Keen. And no, haven't.
Oh, you're in Keen?
I was on Tanglin.
Oh,
Keen, yeah.
Oh, with Mel Ferdinand.
I didn't work with him.
Okay.
So never had once somebody stop me on the street and say, yeah, that. However, I'm in this YouTube series, Jian Hao Tan. Okay, yeah, definitely out of his age range.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay. No, apologize.
He has a series called Titan Academy.
Yeah, Titans Academy. I saw that.
And every episode after, say, 2 months, give and take, has upwards of 2 million views.
Wow.
So the TV, I've estimated, I'm not privy to any official data, but estimated based on checking straw poll with my friends and random people. I think they have 100 to 150,000 viewers per episode.
Wow.
And Channel 8, if it's a blockbuster, like wow kind of series, per episode, 300,000.
Wow, my goodness.
So 300,000 take their top. 300,000 compared with 2 million. And guess what? 2 million is not their highest. I have some of my episodes have gone on and have 9 million.
My goodness.
10 million. And that's not the highest, because their highest episode is 46 million.
Holy crap.
So,
from Chinese-speaking countries?
No, the Jian Hao Tan videos are in standard English. They don't use even Singlish.
Oh, this is an English program?
Yeah, English, so that everybody can understand it. Sometimes when I express in a very localized Singaporean way, the director will say, can we do that take again? So they want
they want to have everyone across,
and it's just huge. It's no comparison at all. And you would think that the audience is growing fastest in Singapore. No, It's in the US. They're growing at 16%, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Chris, what have you been doing wrong, man? Damn it.
So, no, I think your content surely flies. In fact, I told you before coming here, I feel very stressed.
Ayo, my
Yeah, very
goodness.
high standard.
My goodness. High standard. I appreciate the compliment, though. But don't mind me asking. I don't know whether or not you're going to be sensitive about this, but how old are you now?
I am not young, but I tend not to reveal my age online.
Yeah, I'm 55. You older or younger? Okay. But when you were 50, you were established already in tech. And then talent scouted via a Facebook photo. Can you just walk me through what happened there?
Oh, it's a boat from the blue. I didn't know. Yeah.
Pretty sure, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. No kidding. I just got a message. I said, me acting?
And you've never done that before?
I of course, in school, you do stage and all that.
Sure, yeah.
Not professionally. They go there, big cameras around and all that. Wow. Right? Measuring, using tape into the camera and it's not so complicated, right? I mean, stage, at least you're just having fun, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was quite a surprise. And she contacted me. I was curious. I went for the audition and subsequently the rehearsals because I got cast. And she was very generous with her compliments about my ability to act. She said, Michael, honestly, I'm a good judge of talent and I believe you should take up acting seriously. And at that time, I believe her. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't know any better. Honestly, if she had said, Michael, you're horrible, give up and die.
You would have accepted that too.
I wouldn't be angry. Yeah. And when the showreel was up, I sent it out and indeed I got a lot of gigs. And by the fifth in, it hit Hentak Kaki. It was the army shot.
Yeah. I saw that one.
And when I was cast for that, I don't know why, I said, I must get into this. During audition, I must get into this. And I got cast. The entire body, like every bodily cells was fired.
Why?
I can't explain.
Because, it's so funny you said that because I have this question here. What was the initial why for stepping into acting?
Curiosity.
It's that also.
That curiosity. And she was generous. Well, you see, it was I hope, is an honors positive. And look where how much and how far the honors positive has taken me.
Yeah.
Right now, I've done over 400 productions. I got several awards. I got, by now, quite a lot of short films and episodes.
Well, they're remarkable, man.
So,
400 productions.
Over 400.
Holy crap.
Some are small, some are
over big. How many years?
By now, 15 years.
15 years, 400 productions. A freaking lot,
Yeah. At one time, if you stop me and check my bag, right? There'll be 2 or 3 scripts in different genres, different directors, different languages.
Different shows.
Different shows, yeah. So a different language is a tough one. So my mind was like...
So do you think that when at that moment for Hentak Kaki, you wanted to get casted? You wanted it so badly, right? After the audition.
Yeah.
That when you got it, you felt that every cell was exploding.
I was fired, yeah.
Because you were fired up, right? Couldn't we just say then that stepping foot into acting, curiosity is one, but actually there was maybe this deep-seated root of passion for it?
Yeah, there is. It's just that you don't know. It's not conscious.
Yeah. So it was really accidental, wasn't it? For you discovering, first of all, talent and what I love to do.
Yeah.
So between cybersecurity and acting.
Okay, cybersecurity.
You know my question.
Yeah. Cybersecurity, you have to jump over more hoops to get that satisfaction. So for instance, cybersecurity, if you are a chief security officer, 51% of your work is office politics.
Okay.
That means getting budgets.
Sure. Yeah.
So 51%. So you have the 49% that if you are lucky, it might be something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And even that 49%, I think maybe 19% will be operational stuff.
Right.
Your staff just resign, you're going to get another...
Typical corporate bureaucracy and operation stuff.
There are a few hoops to jump over before you get that satisfaction. That satisfaction is unique. you have to, it comes in a package, the boring stuff and then the exciting stuff. Whereas, film production again is different. There is in front of the camera and behind the camera.
Right.
So behind the camera, as I've learned, is a lot tougher.
Oh, I would think so.
It's a lot tougher. A lot of actors.
Walk me through it. Walk me through it.
Okay, just take the example of a director and an actor.
Sure.
And I've done roles where I direct and acted.
Right.
And that's very difficult because when you're in front of a camera, it's fantasy.
Right.
Fantasy. In fact, more fantasy better. You're totally in it.
Which is more fun.
Yeah. And then cut and then you go and have a rest. And usually on the set, you're treated the best because you have to be in good shape, right?
Sure.
When I was directing as well, then I was in front of the camera was fantasy, and the moment cut, there's logistics and stuff, real world, definitely real world. So the flip flopping in and out, fantasy, real world, it's very tiring.
Wow.
And I think a director has to do a lot of that, even if he's not acting in front of a camera, because in his mind's eye, he saw the whole film played before him. And he just have to get this actor, please do what I want you to do. Right?
So the admiration for people behind the lenses, responsible for the production. When you look at guys like, I'm going to say it, Mel Gibson, he's been directing. Yeah. Clint Eastwood, all actors, been directing. Yes. In recent times, even Ben Stiller started directing as well. What's your opinion of these guys, of these people, as actors to directors, the stuff they've produced so far?
Oh, some of the stuff they produce are even better than when they were. Clint Eastwood, but tons were different.
Yeah.
He was playing the macho man.
That was a spaghetti western.
It's like he take a gun and shoot 10 people and he's not shot at all, right? And make my day, that kind of stuff. So very macho stuff. But by the time he retired and became a director, I think his stuff is a lot deeper. A lot deeper.
Yeah.
And I guess these people are talented and intelligent to start off with. That's why they can pull off such a thing, being a director. But the fact that you are, say, suppose just an actor moving into directing, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can be a good director. It depends on your skill sets and your mindset. And ability to visualize and interpret scripts and so on.
Right.
Yeah.
You were on the award-winning Ilo.
Yeah.
There was some controversy about that in this country, Ilo.
Why?
Wasn't there?
Why?
Was that the show? Am I wrong about my facts here?
No, that is wet seasons.
Oh, okay.
Ilo is a wholesome family.
Shoot me, Michael, shoot me.
I was wondering. No.
How was that, man? Did you enjoy that one?
Okay, I do enjoy that, but in a very perverse way because recently it's directed by Anthony Chen.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And recently I chose to act for him again, even if it's a small role. In fact, I told him I met him in a networking evening. I said, hey, Anthony, how are you? He said, what's stress? It's always like that. I said, why? Because my feature film happening. Any role for me, small one also can, huh? He speak Hokkien. Yes, on. Then he's very good, no? He's so detailed. He take out his phone. Hey, sorry, I have to put in my phone because I don't want to forget this. And I got cast.
No, wow.
And my scene, right, he's very detailed, like movements and dialogue, synchronization with the other actor. He is so spot on. So my take was that scene has two shots. The first shot was a lot of people moving, in a coffee shop and all. That's understandable. You need to have more shots, just coordination.
Sure.
Second shot is only me and the other guy. And there was quite a lot of, he was positively, he was synchronizing the how I give that person and where I look and how I say. And
wow,
I think that was about maybe 20 takes.
To that detail.
He's very detailed.
How does one go to sleep, man, every night with all that in his head?
He's tired now. But I chose to work with him because precisely I want somebody like this to pick on me positively so that I can grow.
Did you go through any acting training?
No.
But the way you talk,
Yeah, I'm also very detailed.
So were you ever this detailed before, prior to going into the...
As I said, as a cybersecurity person, you have to be detailed.
So it's suitable. That's the correlation.
Yeah, maybe I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah?
Maybe I'm also...
Maybe that's a correlation, huh?
Maybe not as detailed as Anthony Chen. That guy is... I don't know how his brain be bursting, I think.
But he's probably been doing this far longer than you have, hasn't he?
Yes, and he
has always been in the producing, directing arena.
He's very detailed.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, I'm trying to just discover the psychology behind people, because this is the I Love My Job series on my show.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to so many people from so many trades and professions, right? Especially the tradies. And why do people make change in their lives and their careers? Especially in your 50s. In your 50s, and you make a mid-career switch. Not that you have, but you actually extended another arm of having a career as well. Like me, I do so many damn things, but anyway, let's not talk about me. For you, not even having to go for formal acting training, unlike me, I was put through that. For 2 months. We were sponsored, so it was great. Why so go learn something new? But you didn't, and yet here you are, acted on Ilo. That movie won an award. Then now the same director has put you on for his new project, right? It's like Michael Chua is this known person in that sphere of the world. He knows he's got the acting chops. He understands, behind the lenses, in front of the lens. He knows what to do. So you don't even have to go through anything formal. What's it say about you? Was there ever a real steep learning curve?
Where I told you I was, one of the years I have 60 over gigs a year.
Yeah.
Which is more than one a week. So just that intensity would be a steep learning curve, because every of the production is different genre, different director, different story.
Isn't that stressful, man?
Yeah. It was stressful.
But you enjoyed it?
Yeah. I enjoy it immensely.
So it can't be stressful.
There's a physical strain. There is a physical time as well. Like if you act for 17 hours on, right? Yeah. I was in an ad for Oral-B. Is told as a short story. So I was made to smile so many times. I think 800 over times, maybe 17 hours. Because they have to play it safe, right? Okay, smile, no teeth. Smile, 20% teeth. Smile, 50% teeth. So you keep doing, because it's an ad. Right?
Yeah.
It has to look good and yeah.
Well, I hope they pay well for things like this.
Okay, they paid well, but they didn't tell me it will be 17 hours, and I was stupid enough not to negotiate with them before I go.
17 hours of doing that?
I think they didn't even know it will be 17 now, because maybe they think it'll be 12, right? So it just went on.
It reminds me of the ad I had to do, not acting. I do a lot of voiceovers. And for this particular commercial, it was global. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I won't mention which commercial on this show, but it is a very big fashion brand. And it was only 6. Hang on, 1, 2, 3. 2 lines, probably 6 words, with 1, 3, or 4 syllable word. Now, mind you, the shortest lines are the toughest, because the entire nuance has got to be encapsulated in a short space, right? Yes. 4 syllables. Chris, can you do the 3rd syllable with a different lilt? Excuse me? Okay. Chris, change my mind. Can you do that on the 2nd syllable instead? Okay. 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And I tell you, I was like, I should charge more. And I learned a very big lesson that the shorter the lines, the tougher it is.
That's a good tip.
Yeah. And if you get, especially if you have a producer that's not local.
That's a good tip. Because next time they tell me, no, easy, only 4 lines, 4 words, 2 syllables, whatever else in there. That's
I have bear that in mind, man. Bear that in mind. Having appeared in over 400 productions made, spanning film, TV, YouTube, Titan Academy, as you mentioned, commercials, as you've just mentioned, ROB, and stage. Stage as well.
Yeah.
I want to now do you a favor. I don't think this is very updated, but I did edit. I must tell you, you're the guy who produced that. I did edit a small part of your showreel. So we're going to play it right now for the benefit of our viewer and listener. Here is Michael Chua.
Bukan delivery.
Bukan delivery, mau cari siapa?
Saya cari, I looking for my auntie. No, last time my grandfather gave away the baby to a Malay family. I look for her.
伫车内面食螺猪饼，会死家纸。
爸，我创伊哇！我创伊哇！
咱算够袂？两两块啊，加一摆都转厝甲知影。
I'm not a dog. Okay, you're not a dog. You boji lah. Kan lah, you daddy call me boji. Nim pay US Ranger, Airborne Ranger. You got or not? You then boji, okay? Hey, I'm the one who dare to go out and do what I want, okay? Look at me. I got family, house, car. What do you have? Army only. Raj, army is my life. You understand?
Is everything okay, sir? Sir?
Call me when you need more money. Are you coming back for reunion dinner this year?
No, I'm not coming home this year. Yeah, new job here. Maybe after New Year, we'll see. Yeah, I'm really busy now. Okay, bye.
There are no side effects. I feel stiff all over my body. What's happening?
I don't know how to tell you this. There's no movement in your lungs. Clinically, you're dead.
I'm not dead. I really don't know yet. But I suggest you do a bucket list for me today.
I won't let you get away with this. You think I murdered my husband?
Well, you were a zombie, man. I thought I was bad alien, but you were a zombie, dude. I gotta tell you, when I found this, I had to show it. I had to show it in this episode. I told myself to do it. That's the reason why it was aired, right? But the reason is because, I mean, God, the myriad different roles that you played, and everyone to a T. I'm not trying to blow sunshine up your ass because I'm not that kind of guy, but really, and from the taxi driver, and you know that scene when you gave the money to the guy who played the character, Roger's son, and then after that you called him up and all that. And you know the thing about good acting is when whoever watches it actually gets it and feels it, and it's an extension to your emotions. There's relatability, and I felt it, man. And when you say the army is my life, you know, that was it. Wow, what was it? Oh, damn good, man. I mean, I love that. That was really damn show. It's very nice to watch, frankly. It's amazing. It's really, and for a guy who hasn't been formally trained. And the one thing that I didn't show is the stuff you've been doing on Titan Academy on YouTube. Now, we've seen the one was on MediaCorp, which is mainstream. Then the rest are also in the movies like Ilo. How does the acting process or the satisfaction you derive differ between these platforms? Preparing for example, a viral YouTube hit different from a
Right.
Cannes feature film.
Right. Let me take you through, and the audience who are not in this industry.
Yeah.
Acting is living sincerely under imaginary circumstances, and
Okay.
and you do that by getting into character.
Okay.
And that means you have to research on the character.
Mhm.
You study how, and you try how he speaks, how he moves, his body language, and so on. So you do that until it becomes second nature. But yet on set, not everything is subconscious, because you still have to be conscious, right? For example, you have to remember some technical requirements of moving to the center of the stage, for example, or X number of meters away from the camera, or favoring the camera like this, which is not a natural way of standing. So there is the conscious and subconscious part. Sometimes you even have to hop over wires, right? Cables. Michael, be careful. After that, don't trip.
Yeah.
So you're hopping in and out. So despite doing that, if you can have it seamlessly done, you will make the emotional connection with your audience. And if that's key. Actually, that's the only thing. Because if they have that emotional connection, imaginations runs wild in their head. So they are suspending sense of disbelief. They've forgotten that this guy is acting. His son is really bad. So stuff like that. Then the magic happens.
You know, two things here. One, for a guy who was not formally acting trained, what you just said, that was acting according to Michael Chua, right?
Well, it's universal.
Yeah, you think it's universal, but you can write a book, man. I mean, just write a damn book about that. And the second thing, I was watching you. It was so natural to you that as you were explaining it, you were looking directly at your camera. And I was looking at the preview screen. I was going, So this is, you're so used to that, right? Don't you? The moment that you know that that's your cam and then you're presenting, you're looking straight in your camera.
Okay, acting, like photography, is a relationship of camera acting. It's a relationship with the camera.
Right.
So even if you acted very well, but relative to the camera, doesn't look good. It doesn't pass.
Right.
The fact is that you are squeezing a multi-dimensional world into a two-dimensional camera.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some squeeze there.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be compensation to make it look good. Correct and good in the camera.
The role of acting according to Michael Chua, man, you really gotta write a manual in this. Let's talk about money. Aspiring actors, I mean, everywhere in the world, man, not just here, man. I mean, if you read stories about people like, what's his name now? I think it was Robin Williams, who was roommate with the late Christopher Reeve as well, Superman. These guys were like, actors in the US always end up being waiters and serving staff while they're doing the acting school and stuff. Everyone struggles on their way up towards stardom. And these are financial realities, isn't it?
Yes.
So based on your experience entering the industry later than most of your contemporaries probably in the acting world, what practical advice can you offer on making acting a viable profession? You have to tell me, first of all, viable or not, lah. Especially outside the mainstream channels. How do you navigate that the income, the aspects of income?
I think if I have answered this question 20 years ago, it would be an easier answer, because now technology is coming in, right? So
already here,
the industry is being segmented. So you have the high end acted by human beings, high class movies. Then you have streaming. You have free to air. Then you have online. And in the commercials, in the very low end where there's no brand sensitivities and so on, they can use AI to generate things. So some of the work will be, of course, some work are created. Say, for example, previously, if you are selling 猪茶 or something like that, you didn't need to have an advertisement, right? But now, since you can just ask your son to animate it, you do it. So it creates a new segment, but it also takes away some of the businesses from
work.
Yeah, take away work. Yeah. So it is different. There are also technologies coming in that will make the work different, digital technology, LED backdrops, and so on. So it's quite hard to say how the industry will grow or shrink. Advice won't be different from the usual. Be very careful, be very passionate, and if you think that working hard is enough, that means you're wrong already. Right? It takes more than working hard. To be very good at presenting yourself in the market as well.
Titan Academy that you've gotten to you on YouTube, as you mentioned earlier at length, was there any specific reason why you decided to do something on YouTube, on the digital level?
Yeah, good question. Actually, I was very careful at that time. What happened was that I acted in a short film that was directed by one of the YouTubers in the same place, same studio. And after that, they liked my work. And when they started this series, they called me up. And I was thinking, hey, is it risky because I'm a so-called mainstream actor and I'm going into YouTuber space? And I look at some of the YouTube videos, they are all boobs and asses, right? So it's not
my favorite things. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, it's not clever. It's not, it may not fit. Then I look at their work. Jin Hao's work. I said, yeah, it's family friendly. So I gave it a try.
Right.
And of course, it's different.
How different is this?
Okay,
in terms of the acting.
Okay, the genre affects the acting because the genre is more manga style.
Yeah. I realize. Yeah,
it's funny and ridiculous, funny and that kind of stuff. So it's manga style. So I am the chief antagonist.
Right.
I am a nasty person. I am a corporate raider. I bought over the school and changed all the rules to make life hard for most of them, just for profits. So it is a very nasty person. So in a different genre, say in Wall Street, Wolf
of Wall Street, yeah,
kind of genre, it'd be really socially realistic kind of genre. But this is a manga genre. So the character that I play, Mr. Allen, has to be nasty, but always saying something smiling and sarcastic. So you go to some frightened student and say, happy, that kind of stuff. So I have to change the style to fit into that genre. Say there are some scenes where we punish the students by shaving off their hair. So I'll be exaggerating and I'll be blowing into the shave.
Right.
So very exaggerated, big movements and big expressions and laughing out loud.
So how different is that compared to, say, acting for mainstream? Yeah, same number of cameras, same type of cameras, broadcast cameras or simple cameras.
Mainstream is too broad now. So if you go into TV stations are factories. They have to produce a lot of dramas in a short time. So it'll be a lot of cameras. Okay, we can patch this with that. So there isn't a lot of satisfaction if it's too factory-like. So Titan is less because it's a smaller space.
Lesser equipment and stuff.
No, they have substantial
equipment. So they still use substantial equipment for YouTube.
Yeah, Titan is YouTube Premium, I think.
Yeah, okay.
They have 2 cameras now. It's properly run. They have 2 cameras. They have a script supervisor. They have a cinematographer. They have a director.
Wow.
They have a line producer. They have art and costume. No makeup. I don't know why. Because
so it's almost like a usual film production.
It is. Except they know that they are catering for a group which is very young. So it has to be ridiculously funny.
Yeah.
It has to be family friendly so that the parents won't stop them from watching. Yeah. So that adjustment isn't very different from Mediacorp, except it's better because, can I say that? They're more friendly.
Sure. Yeah, I know what you mean.
They're more friendly. All the meals are bento boxes,
Wow.
not polystyrene boxes.
Okay.
Bento boxes and good stuff.
Used to be bento boxes, by the way.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear. And then if you compare to Anthony Chen kind of standard, then it's different. Anthony Chen, everything is art.
Okay.
Everything is art. Everything is perfection. Whereas for YouTuber, it's like, if it flows, it works.
And it's youngish.
Yeah, silly shit doesn't matter.
That's why I like doing podcasts. Silly shit doesn't matter. Has there been any specific role or performance that you're particularly proud of and fond of? They resonate with you.
Okay, usually it's the more recent ones because as you act, you improve as you go along. Or as you produce, you improve as you go along.
As it with experience.
Yeah. So there is a recent film, short film called Rhapsody of Time.
Okay.
Which is about a coolie who got into a gambling dispute, get into a coma and woke up after 60 years in Singapore.
Wow.
Yeah. So that one, I did it entirely in Teochew, which is my dialect.
Okay.
So I did it in Teochew because I was thinking if my father is still alive today, what would he think of Singapore and how he would react to Singapore? So there are a few things, of course, technology, blah, 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 has changed after 60 years. And the nurse that is bringing him around doesn't speak Teochew. Although she's Teochew, only smattering of Teochew words. And then he says, bring me to town. I want to see, because I see mobile phones is just phone. I can't believe that. Brought to town, and the first thing he saw was, what's this huge tree building and a boat on top? It says that this is a casino. Casino so big. Wouldn't the police just come and catch them easily? Right? It's still very old thinking.
Old thinking.
This is a government approved casino. No way. Lee Kuan Yew, my hero, will never approve something like this. So the disjoints and the change of values,
right?
And also the fact that I get a chance to speak Teochew in the film. He won quite a lot of awards.
This one won awards. Yeah. Speaking of awards, Michael, let me just honor you now. Can we please play the Best Actor Award? Here you go. Go for it, man.
其实我都没有想到会得到这个奖，所以没有准备说什么，只可以说谢谢大家，谢谢评判先生 ，Thank you。
最爱你的，最喜欢你的。
So tell me about that, man. Wow, this award that you won here, this one.
Yeah, this one is the Rhapsody of Time.
That's the one so you won the award for this show.
Yeah.
Just as with the story you're telling me about. Oh, wow. And that guy that gave away the award looks like the former president, Tony Tan.
Yeah.
Was it?
No.
No? Is there a definition of success as an actor?
Yes, to tell stories that make positive influence on people's life. To me, that is the success measurement of an actor.
Okay. How about directing then?
Directing is the same, but it is a heavier responsibility because you are the one that steer the direction of the story and the depths of the story.
Okay.
An actor, no matter how difficult, you are in charge of yourself. Director is in charge of so many things.
Oh my gosh, yes. The University in Newcastle, the Singapore campus, you're teaching there. What do you aim to impart to your students?
to learn things hands-on as quickly as possible in small bites. So in today's world, everybody has a camera in the pocket,
Right.
the mobile phone.
Right.
And the old way of teaching is still to teach you a lot of principles. Then you have a short film made,
Okay.
right? That may be one term, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's passé. Because, for instance, when I teach them about framing, visual framing, right?
Okay.
Symmetry, one-third rule, repeated patterns, a frame within a frame, and so on, right? So when I teach that, I talk about that for half an hour, then another half an hour videos to illustrate. Because when I talk, even draw diagrams, it's not as clean. So thankfully nowadays, good YouTube videos, another half an hour, and that's it. That's enough of the theory. Then for the next 2 hours, I'll get them into groups to go outside the campus and take photographs and 10-second, 20-second videos based on the principles I've taught them. And I say I'll be going around to ask you questions. And if you don't know how to answer, that means you didn't understand anything I taught. But so far, that hasn't happened. And if you give your opinions that are different from mine, doesn't mean you're wrong, because you are able to explain based on the principles. You can't be wrong.
So you're an adjunct.
Adjunct, yeah.
And you yourself didn't go through formal acting training, but through the years of 15 years of acting, because of your experience, the university had you to teach.
Yeah. When I was at the interview, I told them, look, I don't have a drama degree. I don't have a film production degree. I have a cybersecurity degree. And the interviewer looked at my CV and said, no, you're more than qualified. And I was stunned. Nobody tell me that before. Usually they say you're overqualified or not qualified. Right? And yeah.
Well, that's fantastic, isn't it?
But I think something as practical as acting and film production experience counts more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen some lecture slides elsewhere and it's just too theoretical. And then they break the practice so far away. My practice is after 1 hour, they get to practice it.
Right.
And they get feedback. They get feedback from themselves. They get feedback from me.
Yeah.
And then I'll show their fragments of work in class as a postmortem. And they can enjoy it, right?
Right. What do you personally gain from this teaching?
I think I have to share my stuff before I die, I suppose. One day we are all going to die.
So it's a legacy.
So to share, legacy means they have to remember. It's
by leaving it behind is for people to remember and carry forward is also legacy, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So that they, especially I find that the methods of teaching has to change. Teaching has to be more experiential. It's not a sage on the stage talking down to students one direction. It has to be experiential.
Yeah.
And of course, you still have to teach them principles. And that should be as short as possible. After that, should be break up to practice.
And let people just get the feet wet.
And today, you can do that easily and cheaply because technology is in your pocket, literally.
Yeah.
You don't have to check out equipment. After that, lost equipment, pay up, 1206.
Hopefully one day, as I grow up, some university will say, Chris, can you teach our
You should.
Jeez, I don't know man, whether that ever happened. I teach private students. So moving on. What if, Michael, that Facebook photo didn't lead you or hadn't led you to acting? What do you imagine your career and life path might really look right now?
Well, I guess I'll never know.
Just imagine it. I mean, you're an actor, you imagine it.
Yeah.
Would you have found another creative outlet?
No, I think I'll imagine that I'll go back to Europe and continue to become an independent consultant.
For the cybersecurity arena.
The reason why I'm staying here, not going to Europe, and why the technology pays a lot more, I believe it. Because if I'm in France or Belgium and all those countries, the chances of me being able to act is very slim because you require to speak French, and if they need somebody to speak French, they can find a Vietnamese local born, whatever, right? Even with Asiatic face. So that's the reason why I stay in Singapore mainly.
Okay. You wrote a book, your novel, called Made in Singapore. What's all that about? And what prompted you to write that book?
I collected a lot of stories verbally from maids and security guards, employers, etc. And I find that these stories are not always very just. And the maids are always on the receiving end unfairly, usually. I do not want to make it as a documentary and it be too social realistic and too painful to watch. So I make it a comedy and throw in some love and it becomes a romantic comedy. And that's the purpose, to highlight some of the things that happens to maids. So, for instance, there's an unwritten rule that security guards cannot date maids. Unwritten rule.
Is that right?
Yeah. Security guards that are found dating maids, they are either fired or posted elsewhere.
What reasons?
I don't know.
Good grief.
And some places, they don't allow maids to use the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I thought I'd make
Lots of places, actually.
I make it as a comedy. Yeah.
Okay. How did it do, that publication?
Moderately. I mean, I didn't have any budget for publicity. In fact, National Library Board was very nice. They wanted to help me launch for free.
Wow.
But it was COVID, and then they came back and said, no, we can't do it. Yeah.
You also enjoy making tropical fruit wines, fusion dishes.
Do that too. Oh my God.
I mean, all these things, the book, the creating tropical fruit wine and fusion dishes, writing, culinary arts, do they connect for you? Or inform you, sort of help you out in your creativity for film and consulting?
Yes. Because every batch of wine is different. Every fruit is different. Even if you buy from the same vineyard, every season is different. So you really have to kind of feel the fruit. And then as it ferments, you have to recognize, for example, the amount of bubbles. Right, when is the bubble going to die? You must not let the bubble die totally, because then fermentation stop and then
it's not going to work.
No, it's not going to work. And it becomes vinegar.
Yeah.
So you have to, a lot of judgment, subjective judgment, and that's art. The fusion part is that sometimes I try out things. For example, the papaya wine, when it's very young, say, I think generally
papaya wine.
Yeah, good. That one's a good one. Generally, after 4 days, then it starts to produce alcohol.
Wow.
Yeah, normally. So if you have Muslim friend, now you ask them, hey, come and get before day 4. I have a friend always come for my ginger wine, but before day 4.
So because before the alcohol.
Yeah, then I say you drink before day 5. So anyway, when it's very young, the wine is sweet. You know that, right? Young wines.
Yeah. Like Beaujolais Nouveau.
So the papaya wine, when it's young, it still retains the papaya taste and is sweet. And I can make it thick. I can adjust that and make it thick. And then I use it as salad dressing.
Oh,
fantastic.
Nice.
So there's still a bit of alcoholic taste and papaya taste. Yeah.
My goodness. Oh, you're really a detail guy. Yeah?
Fantastic.
You really love the details.
Detail after many failures. You got to experiment. When you experiment, you fail.
Of course. So all these things, everything's got to do with your right brain. And a lot of your left as well, because it's so detailed.
I think it's mixed. Yeah. You have to be logical. Resources are limited, so you have to plan carefully as well.
What continues to excite you most about the diverse work you do every day? Everything is so diverse, including your interests.
I suppose excitement has to be surprises. Of course, if I tell you boring stuff like to tell stories that impact people, that's true. But if there's no surprises, it's less exciting, right? So there are surprises that come in. For example, that Rhapsody of Time, I show it to Singaporeans and they can either they relate to it because casino and all that. Then Teochew say, wow, I speak Teochew good. And then I show it to a Filipina girl. And after that, I asked for her feedback. She kept quiet. She said, actually, it's quite sad, isn't it? I said, what's so sad? So he set off from China and told the mother he's going back. And in the end, he didn't even send money back, and mother died, and he didn't achieve anything.
So she saw a different perspective of the story. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't expect that.
I wouldn't have expected that either.
Yeah.
But because she's not Singaporean, she doesn't relate from them the main gist of the story. She sees it as something else.
But what she saw is even more generic.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of powerful still.
I think it's because most Filipinos are still working abroad.
Correct.
So she can relate that.
Yeah, maybe. So you see, everyone's set experiences will see things from their own mind's eye. You know, they get a message that only they can relate to.
So these are the kind of surprises.
Very cool, huh?
Hentak kaki, I showed it to American Army people.
Yeah.
And I was surprised they didn't understand the Singlish. Of course, they understood the story.
Oh.
They say, I've seen many people like this in the US Army.
The career soldiers who really all absolutely committed to being...
So I love to have all these continuous small surprises coming in.
Yeah, it makes life very interesting, huh?
Yeah. Even Titan Academy, I think there are some surprises too. Yeah.
How much do you believe... Okay, let me just rephrase it this way. Does it pay to dream, Michael?
I mean financially?
No, dream.
Or does it pay to dream? Yes.
Why do you say that?
Well, then I get to walk a path that I want to, and it's a beautiful path.
So, is there a reason why you're going to do this? Because we're going to end the show right now. Is that the reason why you did this, and this is how we're going to end the show? And before we end the show, Kai, don't go yet. Don't be trigger happy. You said dream. Does it pay to dream? We're going to play something to end this episode, people, of Michael performing something about dreaming. And that's how we're going to end today's episode. And next week, as you will find that we'll come to the last episode of the season. That's it. That's going to be the end of season 5. And we will end the show with the first and only episode for this season of the UFO Reveal Asia. And that one's going to be called The Age of Disclosure. And I'm going to have my ufologist back, Ignatius Bong. So join us for the season finale next week as well. And in studio with me, Michael Chua. Thank you very much for being here with me.
Thank you so much.
And this is Chris Henson. You guys take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Play it now, Kai. Let it rip.
3, 2, 1.
Dream, 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 dream. Dream, dream, dream when I want you. In my arms when I want you. And all your charms whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream, dream, dream.